What's this? Oh, I see. You think because that Flash video did so well, I'm gonna jump right into making another Justice League video. Well, joke's on you, pal. You're not the first cartoon to have a successful video on this channel, and newsflash, there's a line. People are still waiting for King of the Hill videos, Teen Titans videos. Shoot, do you know how behind I am on my Atla videos? So just take your little self to the back of the line and be patient, just like every other, ooh, that's a lot of views. Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. Well, I've been the BoJack guy, and I currently am the King of the Hill guy, but if the past few weeks are any indication, it may finally be time for me to become the superhero guy. Or maybe not. Maybe the views from the Flash video was just a one-time thing. All I know is that I'm a monkey in a cage dancing for peanuts, and you intellectuals gave me a lot of peanuts, so I feel obligated to do a bit more dancing for you. But if we're gonna do this superhero thing, we're gonna do it right. So today we're looking at my all-time favorite episode of Justice League, the two-parter titled Legends. Jeez, if that isn't the most fitting name for an episode. The episode starts with the Justice League up to their usual shenanigans. A giant robot is attacking the city and they're trying to take it down.
Who could be behind a monstrosity like that?
Obviously Ultron, but DC doesn't own the rights to him, so we'll settle for Lex Luthor. The robot manages to down 3 of the Leaguers, leaving Flash, Batman, and Superman. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, goodness, this is the third episode of this show I've reviewed, and there's still no Wonder Woman in sight. I'm not doing this on purpose, guys, though admittedly, she is my least favorite character on the team. Despite the setbacks, Superman and Batman manage to bring down the robot. Unfortunately, it's about to fall on the unconscious heroes, and it takes Superman out on its way down, leaving only the Flash to try and save everyone by creating a cyclone. Flash's speed, combined with the energy from the robot, causes some kind of chain reaction, and the 4 heroes vanish with the robot. The heroes that were caught in the explosion wake up, confused about what happened. Thinking they're in the same location, they try to get into contact with Superman and Batman. We're just gonna ignore that.
The others can't have gone far. Let's fan out and find them.
Yeah, and I guess we'll just leave the incredibly dangerous robot laying here in the alleyway for anyone, including kids, to stumble across. Flash and Green Lantern make their way downtown, only to find that they're not in Kansas anymore.
I haven't seen a truck like that since I was a kid.
Do you mean the make and model? Because ice cream trucks were still a thing when this show came out. Shoot, they're still a thing now.
You suppose we got blasted into the past?
Nope, the date's right.
I absolutely love that getting sent through time is such a common thing in this genre that these characters immediately thought it was a possibility and knew how to check for it. And for those of you who are about to say something, this episode takes place before the Savage times. Before Wally and John can figure things out, they catch a crime in I know that car! Well, I don't know that car in particular, but I recognize the aesthetic. A musical instrumental car is the type of thing you see in Golden Age or Silver Age comics.
Music Master, put up your hands and drop the Stradivarius.
Sorry, Sergeant. I don't take requests.
Silly vehicles, names with alliteration, cheesy one-liners. Did I die and go to heaven? As the Music Master begins to make his grand exit, he's stopped by an unknown assailant.
You disguise can't fool me, Green Guardsman.
Green Guardsman?
That's actually a fitting name for a Green Lantern.
It's still the same old song.
Can't help but notice a disturbing lack of fastest man alive. What is the Flash doing? John manages to recover the Stradivarius, but Music Master escapes. This puts him and Flash in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But in Seaboard City, crime doesn't pay.
Hey, you got the wrong...
You've just made a big mistake.
No, you did. When you chose to break the law.
Black Canary, Wildcat! Wait, no, that guy looks more like vintage Batman than he does Wildcat.
It seems we are not in Metropolis anymore.
Hey, I made that same joke earlier.
Whoever you are, you're no Green Lantern.
Okay, I was gonna make the obvious joke about that being Alan Scott, but I'm legit surprised to see consistent constructs being made. In the comics, it's very important for Green Lanterns to be creative because their weapons can create literally anything they can think of. However, while the Lanterns in this show can make objects, John did it a lot in the Christmas episode, they tend to stick to very simple things like bubble shields and laser blasts, more than likely to make it easier for the animators. Throughout this episode, however, Green Guardsman is constantly creating actual objects out of his ring, and it's a sight for sore eyes.
You're quick, son, but villainy can never outrun justice.
Dude, you're supposed to be commentating. Huh? Oh, geez. They even brought in Jay Garrick. Okay, he doesn't really look anything like Jay Garrick, but I wanted to make the reference. The Justice League continue to defend themselves from their new superpowered foes. However, the Flash gets distracted when a bystander almost gets hurt. This is Ray Thompson, by the way, and I've never seen a more perfect example of me if I were in this show.
Pow! Give it to him, Green Guardsman!
Yep, that's exactly how I'd act if there was a superhero fight happening in front of me. The other speedster sees that the Flash saved Ray and realizes that his team made a mistake.
All of you, stand down! No one who would risk his own life to save another could be evil.
That's not how that works, but sure. The Justice League's new super friends invite them to their headquarters where they introduce themselves.
Justice Guild, roll call. Catman.
Black Siren.
Green Guardsman.
Tom Turbine. The Streak.
Well, now we know why Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman didn't get to come. They would have had extreme cases of deja vu. In case you couldn't tell, this entire episode is an homage to classic superheroes, the golden age and early silver age of comics, as well as shows like the Super Friends. Need I say more why this is my favorite episode? Well, I'm gonna.
And this is our official Justice Guild Junior Justice Guildsman, Ray Thompson.
Yep, that's exactly what I do if superheroes were based in my hometown. Immediately after introducing Ray, Jean starts feeling temporarily dizzy. It's obviously a foreshadow, let's not pay attention to it.
I think I have some freshly baked cookies, too. Hot girl?
I am not getting dessert.
We need answers here. So maybe just this once we can all play along.
So, you fight crime and bake cookies. How do you do it?
Wow, another superhero from the 2000s putting aside her pride for more important things. How do people not see the insane downgrade from these characters with modern superheroes? Actually, to be fair, I doubt Wonder Woman would have played ball. Can't really see one of comics' oldest symbols of feminism swallowing her pride here. Green Lantern reveals that the Justice Guild isn't just some random superhero team.
The Streak, Tom Turbine, Green Guardsman. They were the stars of my favorite comic book, the Justice Guild of America. Those comics taught me what it meant to be a hero. Without them, well, maybe I wouldn't have this ring today.
Remember this part. I have thoughts, but they must be saved for when the moment is right. We transition to a cave where it turns out Music Master fled. It's here we see three more supervillains, Sportsman, Dr. Blizzard, and, I don't think they ever say this guy's name. The wiki calls him Sir Swami. Ew, no, that name sucks. I'm calling him Presto. Going along with the theme, these four have all the charm, puns, and one-liners you'd expect from cheesy villains.
Cool it, Sportsman.
A bet? I'm game.
Time to face the music.
Exit, stage left.
I'll be leaving with my chill-gotten gains.
What's this? New player?
Then it appears we have a hat trick.
That's why I lead the league in steel.
Even infinity is a minuscule concept to describe how great my love for these is. The four villains decide to hold a competition. They're all gonna go steal stuff, and whoever wins gets to come up with a plan to eliminate the Justice League. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, Tom Turbine theorizes that the Justice League may have come from another dimension.
The energy blast you absorbed caused you to match the vibration rate of our Earth.
But this still doesn't explain the Justice Guild comics I read when I was a kid.
What they thought was merely imagination was a psychic memory of the Justice Guild's real exploits.
Tom thinks he can get the Justice League back to their own dimension using a prototype he's been working on, though he would need to find an energy source to power it. Before the heroes can settle down, however, the guild gets a visit from the local cops.
To the Justice Guild, prepare for our most fiendish plot of all. A crime spree based on the four elements of the ancient world. Dastardly yours, the Injustice Guild.
Wait a second. Guilds, injustice, parallel dimensions? Oh no.
Crime took my family too, Clark. If you weren't the gun...
What kind of criminals tip off the authorities?
The Riddler, the Joker, a lot of villains who do things just for attention? With supervillains doing their thing, naturally the superheroes jump into action so they can do theirs. But first, they gotta make things official.
Consider yourselves honorary members of the Justice Guild.
You could order rings just like these off the back of the old comic books.
Nice plastic.
The irony of a Green Lantern and a Flash appreciating plastic comic book decoder rings. Oh, it's too good.
We should split into teams if we're to have any hope of defeating the Injustice Guild.
Let's just go with the person on our left.
Hey, baby, I'm a gazillionaire.
Can I come? Can I?
I would hesitate to put the boy in harm's way.
Sure thing, little buddy. Oh, boy!
Yep, that's exactly what I would do if I was a sidekick on a superhero team. So the Justice League and Guild pan out to stop the dastardly Injustice Guild. Man, Green Lantern must be having the best day. He basically got sent back to the 50s, a great time in America, and he's getting to meet his heroes that he worshipped as a kid. I mean, are there any downsides to this?
It's an honor to fight beside you.
The feeling's mutual. You're a credit to your people, son.
So the heroes are off to defend 4 various treasures. The Streak and Lantern do their best to stop Presto from stealing a ruby, but he manages to give them the slip.
What the?
What's the difference between a red ruby and a red pill? Jean, Catman, and Ray chase after the sportsman who's trying to make his getaway after stealing a trophy.
Holy hijacking, Catman!
This episode is a masterpiece. You cannot convince me otherwise. Unfortunately, during their pursuit, Jean gets another series of visions, allowing sportsmen to get away. Don't worry, this has only happened 3 times now. It's not important. Next up is Flash and Black Siren. Their job is to stop Dr. Blizzard from stealing a fountain.
Chill out, Blizzard. We're putting you on ice.
Forgive me if I give you the cold shoulder.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Wow, he has a lot of these ready. It's almost like Wally is used to fighting cold-themed villains. The Flash easily gets the upper hand on Blizzard, but just as he's about to claim his victory...
Flash, look!
You know, when I review these episodes and write these scripts, it's sometimes difficult to convey to you all exactly how I felt while watching the episode. But it is my job to try. When I saw a truck full of dynamite about to crash into a bus full of nuns, my response went a little something like this. Flash is able to save the nuns, but unfortunately doing so puts him out of commission. Not really sure how, all he did was jump out of a moving car, while he's been hit with way worse than that. With the Flash being knocked out and Black Siren being a woman, rules of 1950s dictate that they get captured by the supervillain. Finally, we have Hawkgirl and Green Guardsman. Oh, by the way, Tom Turbine stayed behind to work on the Trans-Dimension device. It's not really relevant, but that's why he's not in any of these fights right now.
We can't destroy that plane. It's an irreplaceable piece of our nation's aviation heritage.
Then how do you suggest we stop him?
The guy is the equivalent to a Green Lantern. I'm sure you can think of something. Shire and Guardsman run into some trouble when their chase causes a scaffold to fall.
Steady the scaffold.
I can't. My ring has no power over aluminum.
Then grab the people? Like, I love this reference to the dumb weaknesses heroes in the Golden Age had. Alan's ring didn't work on wood. But when you have a weapon whose limit is your imagination, it gets really frustrating when the hero isn't very imaginative.
Stay here.
What? Why? Are you just fed up with dealing with his nonsense, Shira? He's not needed there and you're still chasing down a villain. Oh geez, if only you had brought backup. Also, every villain got away. How did 2 superhero teams lose to 1 villain team of 4? Shira wakes up with Music Master long gone. For reasons I don't know why, she decides to check out a random grave.
Here lies Scott Mason, the Green Guardsman.
Oh, so that's why Guardsman didn't go with her. If he did, he would have seen the graves. By the way, this is the end of part 1 and it leaves a massive cliffhanger. My goodness gracious. Part 2 starts with Hawkgirl telling Green Lantern and Jean her discovery.
Look, I don't know who that is, but the real Green Guardsman is gone. And so are the rest of them.
Kinda jumping to conclusions there, Shira. Why do you think the alive heroes are the deception and not the graves? John is having a hard time accepting Hawkgirl's testimony, and honestly, I really feel for him. My fellow comic, video game, and cartoon geeks, can you imagine going to a world where you get to meet your favorite fictional hero, something you thought wasn't possible, only to be told it's all a lie and they're actually dead? Meanwhile, at the Cave of Injustice, that's not what they call it, but it has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Despite the others successfully bringing in their treasures, Dr. Blizzard surprises the rest of the Injustice Guild with his prize and is declared the winner.
What are you gonna do now, Doc? Turn us into snow cones?
Oh no, I have bigger plans than that.
How the crap did Flash change positions? He was laying down and unconscious when you froze him. Also, the Flash can get out of that.
I just vibrated my body till I melted through.
Back with the heroes, we see the Guild and Jean pondering what happened to their captured teammates when they receive a call.
The Injustice Guild has just robbed the Seaboard City Mint.
Wait, did they just go back to robbing stuff? The whole point of them stealing the 4 items was to see who would get to form a plan to kill the Justice League. Elsewhere, John has gotten the proof he needs to face reality. Fun little detail I didn't notice until today, Green Guardsman's name is actually Scott, the Streak's name is actually Jay, and Black Siren's full name is Donna Nance. For those of you out of the loop, this is Alan Scott, this is Jay Garrick, and this is Dinah Drake, later called Dinah Drake Lance after getting married. Not to be confused with her daughter Dinah Laurel Lance, who actually appears later in Unlimited. I don't think Tom Turbine is based off of any specific hero, so I don't know if his name is a reference or not, but Catman's name, who's clearly retro Batman, is T. Blake for some reason. Is that supposed to be a play on Tim Drake? Because if so, that's more of a Robin reference than Batman. Hold on, let me look this up right quick. Oh! Apparently, Catman was an actual thing and not just a Fairly OddParents joke. Thomas Reese Blake, or Catman, was originally a Batman villain who first appeared in the 60s and was a copycat, no pun intended, of Catwoman. He's actually made a few appearances over the years in comics. Shoot, he was even in New 52, wow. Anyway, back to the story.
You were right. They're gone.
Then who are those people back at the mansion? Robots? Clones?
First of all, Hall of Justice, get it right. Second, just like the time traveling, I love that robots and clones are an immediate rational possibility in this show. John and Shira fly back to the city to do some investigating, but when they start asking questions, things get a little strange.
What can I do you for, folks?
What can you tell us about those graves on the hill?
Sorry, I've got to finish my route. Can't keep my customers waiting.
When's the last time you actually sold any ice cream?
He might hear you.
Who?
Unable to get clear answers, the two head to the library to research history.
Blank.
What? Let's check the newspaper archives in the basement.
Why am I not surprised?
I gotta say, this is a captivating mystery. The more they reveal, the more I want to know. It's really enticing. Eventually, John and Shira find part of the city that's authentic and begin to piece together what happened.
These are battle scars.
You're right. And look at the date. The same date as the last Justice Guild comic.
Back with the Justice Guild, we get a classic superhero versus supervillain showdown. It's a really good, really fun scene. Unfortunately, I don't have much to say about it other than Wally could easily break out of those bindings. Catman defeats all the villains by himself, which I'm pretty sure is commentary the show did by accident, and I find it hilarious that Black Siren has been useless this entire episode. As expected, the superheroes win, and the supervillains wind up going to jail. Later, at the supposed Hall of Justice, Green Lantern and Hawkgirl confront the Guild with their findings.
They're not the Justice Guild.
Say what?
Justice Guild killed in battle.
They're all dead. I've seen their graves.
He can't be serious.
I don't know. It sounds fantastic.
Fun fact, even though most people use it in a positive way, the word fantastic is actually neutral. It just means only existing in fantasy, which is ironic since heroes dying is something you don't normally get in these cheesy types of stories.
Hello?
Justice Guild, we need your help. A monster's tearing up Main Street.
Bookend!
We're on our way, Sergeant.
Do you realize you don't take your helmet off when you use that phone? The Guild are about to take off to save the city again, but John stops them.
Haven't you noticed that nothing here makes sense? Library books with blank pages.
Dangers that spring up whenever someone gets too close to the truth.
That your world is an illusion. A living memory of a civilization destroyed 40 years ago, when the Justice Guild gave their lives for this Earth.
If what you say is true, who or what is creating this illusion?
I suggest you ask Ray.
It's revealed that after the real Guild's death, Ray gained the ability to distort reality. For years, he's been forcing the world to be a place of fantasy, where his favorite heroes are constantly fighting supervillains and he gets a front row seat to it all. Yep, that's exactly what I would do if I had reality-bending superpowers.
Justice Guild, attack!
No! Don't! It's an illusion. He's the real menace.
The Justice League attack Ray, but he proves too much for them. Eventually, the Guild is able to see who the real enemy is, but this forces them to make a choice.
Defeating Ray could destroy this reality and everything in it.
Including us.
We died once to save this Earth, and we can do it again.
Guys, I legit do tear up every time I watch this scene. This isn't a dangerous mission or heroes risking their lives for something. The Justice Guild know that to save everyone else, they have to die.
You can't! I made you!
Let justice prevail!
And so, the legends band together one last time to defeat their final foe.
No.
Listen.
You're all real?
What do you mean, are they real? If they weren't, you just shattered a happy reality for no reason. Also, is Ray dead? Because he's a reality warping super being. If he's not dead, this is just gonna happen all over again once he wakes up. With the current crisis over, the League head down to the Hall of Justice's basement. Turns out the real Tom Turbine was actually working on a transdimensional device. John figures maybe his ring could be a good power source for it. Funny John didn't think of that before, and also convenient that the machine sends them to the correct dimension, but whatever, the episode's gotta wrap up. We end with the League discussing what they went through, John taking it harder than anyone else.
Why should I feel like this? I mean, they weren't even real.
They gave their lives for us. That's real enough for me.
And that was Legends, my absolute favorite episode of the best superhero show in existence. I noticed a few plot problems when rewatching, but man does it still hold up. All the episode had to do was create a fun adventure that shows the difference between modern heroes, or at least modern heroes for the time, and retro heroes. But it went a huge leap forward than the bare minimum, providing a fun mystery with a really satisfying conclusion. It could easily be my favorite for that reason alone. However, the main reason I wanted to talk about this episode is related to the main reason I love it so much. Chances are there's going to be a lot more discussion of superheroes on this channel, and if that's going to happen, you guys need to know what that topic means to me. Before we get into it though, I have a personal story I want to share. When I was growing up, I believed in following all rules, no exceptions. It was actually to a point where it became a big problem. I would make bad decisions in my life because I was trying so hard to follow rules. It even got to the point where my parents were telling me that I was too obsessed with rule following. Imagine that. You follow the rules so blindly that your parents of all people have to tell you to reconsider this mentality. However, no matter what was said to me or who said it, I felt that all rules had to be followed. Then one day I picked up this comic, one I still own by the way, called Public Enemies. It's about how Lex Luthor is president and because of his crazy orders, Superman and Batman become outlaws. In the story, there's a scene where Batman lectures Captain Atom about how following orders doesn't determine what the right thing to do is, but situations do, and you have to act accordingly in those situations. It's thanks to Public Enemies, a comic book about superheroes, that an important lesson so many others tried to teach me, a lesson I still use to this day, was finally able to sink in. That is one example of many ways superheroes and comics changed my outlook on life. I wanted to talk about Legends because I believe it's the best portrayal of how I, and many others, view superheroes.
Why should I feel like this? I mean, they weren't even real.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The reason people get hung up on fictional characters is because while they may not be real, they represent something that is. John didn't get to meet his actual heroes, but he saw a representation of what they stood for, which is what he valued from them, and that's why he's feeling the way he does. That's how I feel about the superheroes I grew up with.
Those comics taught me what it meant to be a hero. Without them, well, maybe I wouldn't have this ring today.
To be honest, I know it's not a one-to-one comparison. The fake Justice Guild actually had sentience, so that makes them more real than actual fictional characters, but the metaphor is still there. Getting back to the point, however, there is no actual Superman, but truth, justice, and the American way. Those do exist, and sometimes a Superman helps those ideas sink in. Look, I'm not saying superheroes are more important than real-life heroes, nor that their lessons can't be taught in some other way. But what I am saying is, while superheroes in comic books may be fiction, they changed my life for the better and helped me become the man I am today. And that's real enough for me. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.